up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is July the 12th. It is Friday, so we are ready to party and, have all of the crazy news stories that will make you think, well, you know, I may not be where I thought I would be at this age, but I'm killing life better than these folks, which, Friday is just a conglomeration of crazy and bingo card, fulfillment. Good morning, Fun Diane and Christine and Squid Pro Quo. Good morning. Good morning. Good, for the love of Cheetos. English. Good morning, Jedi Jess and Tim Swoop and Alice G. Good morning. I am doing great, Nanny Goat. So, just a quick thing, and I will probably repeat this at the end of this when more people are in. But our friend, if you are in any way related to LawTube, then you might know Steve Gosney, like the nicest, sweetest person in the entire world. I mean, as the world's worst Christian, he might be the world's better Christian, the best Christian, the one we should model. And he is getting a lot of flack because he wrote a daggone fictional novel. Now, I'm going to guess that all the women that are having big old issues with the fact that he wrote a fictional novel, their Kindle needs Jesus, and they also read 50 Shades of Grey. So I am gonna need for everyone to calm the heck down and leave our Gosney alone before you get a crazy redhead in a Bender Hawaiian shirt driving down to Florida, gathering up a group of people in my giant Ford Transit 10 people, passenger mobile, to start sending some love down to Florida for Steve Gosney. So I am definitely upset. Again, this makes no sense. It's called fiction. So good morning, Greedy Bloke and Arlene and Betsy. Good morning. So our first story, beyond absolutely, go show Steve some love. He is getting all of the ridiculous treatment from screeching voices on Twitter because he wrote a doggone fictional novel. I mean, this is like claiming that the man who wrote, The Red Dragon and Hannibal apparently was also a cannibal. Now, I'm pretty sure that's also like saying J.K. Rowling went to Hogwarts, otherwise how could she write it? Or, that Stan Lee had all the mutant powers and was secretly aligned with Magneto. I mean, it is just the dumbest concept. I have no time for it. And y'all, I swear to goodness, all these women's Kindle lists need Jesus. I mean, I may not know much about everything else, but I know about Smuxy Romance. And, yep, I'm going to need to see all of their Kindle lists. Anywho, a Texas cop allegedly sent racy texts to a married woman while working police chief security before her husband called the police over the affair. Nothing like getting caught as a police officer while working, on the police chief's, detail. A veteran Texas police officer allegedly sent explicit photos of himself to a married woman as he worked on his police chief's security detail, only to be found out by the woman's furious husband. San Antonio police officer Mark Castillo was accused of sending the racy messages for nearly a month between April and May, often during the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. during his regular work schedule. So you couldn't wait to send pictures of your, peen during off hours so the taxpayer wasn't paying for those? Well, then it seems like you and this Texas police officer have some things in common. I don't know. I am not sure how the victim point calculus goes in that one. Good morning, Celestial Force. Castillo, a 23-year veteran of the department, is a member of Chief William McManus's executive protection detail and would also often inform his lover, realtor Laura Cisneros. Also, y'all, realtors, they are one of the highest profession for seeking, fun times outside of marriage. So take with that information gleaned from Huffington Post what you will. When the chief was nearby. So KSAT reported, so that's a local news station, the security detail is tasked with driving McManus, named San Antonio's police chief in 2006, to meetings and events and guarding him at scenes. The explicit texts were only discovered when Cisneros' husband, Arturo, was using her phone and saw the alleged sexting in the act. Ma'am, you didn't get a burner phone? They're called tracked phones, and you can get them. It's not like we all didn't watch the Chandler Halderson case. Apparently, if you wrap it in tinfoil, it's even better to protect it from the government. Arturo knew Castillo was an acquaintance of his wife and had met him several times at the city council meetings and local Mexican restaurants near where McManus worked out. Castillo allegedly shared his deep desires with Laura before telling her to erase his messages as to not be caught before saying the chief was on the move. I wish I could censored slowly, the cop says in one series of texts obtained by the outlet. I hope he said read slowly and move my lips while doing so, because, that's where I'm going with this one. And she responds back, "Stop, you're totally going to get me in trouble. My computer is open and they keep seeing you come up," Laura said. So this is gross McOfficerton, and then here is lady who will sext you anytime, even when her husband is around, apparently. And dude got his bifocals enhanced to be able to view this deception. Poor guy. Okay, make sure you erase all your messages. Talk to you later, Castillo mentioned before he believes the chief is about to walk out. Down the street from you, he mentions before Laura requests him to stop on by the restaurant. He says he was starving. Other messages showcase different ways the cop was flirty with Laura. "You always look good and you smell good," Castillo says. "Nah, I like being alone with you. I like to touch you." Well, who doesn't say that, while guarding the chief of police? Castillo even talked about different positional, favorites, if you will, in his digital fling. "So you want me now instead of later, huh?" Castillo asked before Laura responded, Darn yes, I do. Uh, Look, I'm not saying that Valhalla, me, and Dolly need to do a dramatic reading of these, but this needs to be put on the to-do list for this year. Uh, in more cringe, just where I would touch you and what I would do to you if my car wasn't idling in the gas station, which I thought you weren't supposed to cause friction around a gas station, but you know, far be it for me to go against the advice of, a security police officer for the chief of police. Now they claim that they never did the actual deed, but they did make out. Now she says that she has since ended the relationship. Well, isn't she special? Isn't that great? At the time Arturo Cisneros discovered the messages, he questioned his wife about the mysterious texter. Hey, who is this Mark Castillo guy? Arturo Cisneros said. I knew something was wrong, so I ran into the bathroom and locked the door. Cisneros began looking through the month long text chain, all the while his wife of 33 years pleaded for her phone back. Ma'am, it's called a delete button, and again, it's called a burner phone. I mean, you saved every single one of his disgusting text messages where y'all were talking about footsie only maybe a couple bases further, and you knew you were doing shenanigans and you didn't erase the evidence. I'm calling X. I am pressing X to doubt that this relationship is done, and X to doubt that they did not do the beast with two backs. I'm just calling it. The intensity of the, Smexy text increased in the days before Cisneros discovered them, he told the outlet. And I mean, look at this guy. Her poor husband looks like, he done worked 3 jobs to make sure she can buy everything from the Mac counter and go to Sephora and, buy those eyebrows. And this woman is like, "Oh, well, I got the leather pants and the Mac counter. I no longer need you. Goodbye." I mean, what a absolute heifer and thunder cow move. After reading the disturbing messages, the frustrated man called his family about finding these texts before calling 911. Yes, this is 911. Would you like to report a fire? Well, apparently there's some loin fire going on with my wife and one of your officers. So would someone like to get down here? Welcome, Shizzy Raid. Good morning, Cynthia Fire Fairy 42 and Captain Kern. Between the time of placing the call and officers arriving at his home, Cisneros' brother and sister-in-law showed up at the house while his wife had left without her phone. The SAPD incident report indicated that Arturo Cisneros called the cops to report the affair, but failed to mention Castillo, and it also differs significantly than what Cisneros, his brother, and wife claimed to have told the police. The report states that Arthur Cisneros told dispatchers that his wife had fled the home after hitting herself and returned asking police to check her face. Well, he's not an unattractive guy, but again, sir, there are plenty of fish in the sea that might not, be a married, such as that. It also states that Laura told the police that Arturo Cisneros reached behind himself before, laying hands on his wife. The claims in the report have been refuted by the couple and Arturo's brother and sister-in-law, who claim it was not an accurate account of what happened. Arturo was arrested for misdemeanor laying of hands causing bodily injury, married. Patricia Cisneros took nearly 50 pictures of the disturbing text before handing the phone to the police so they could collect specific timestamp information from the messages. At the time of his arrest, Arturo Cisneros was 16 months away from completing an 8-year probation stemming from a 2016 aggravated assault on a public servant. Was his wife, assisting the public servant as well, because I have a feeling if they've been married for 33 years, this is not a first-time thing. She probably found another cop. She just picks herself a cop out of the herd every new police, academy rotation, and in the older case, Arturo Cisnero was mockingly challenged by a Blanco County sheriff's deputy to retrieve his broken force multiplier, a 22 long force multiplier, and prove it still works or still worked, and then, sent a freedom seed into the ground. Arturo Cisneros' lawyer claims that uh, her client's arrest was payback for discovering Castillo's affair. They wanted to protect Mark Castillo, and it was easier to arrest my client in order to do that. We have a police report that now puts my client at risk of possibly going to prison, Carolyn Wintland said. Wintland said Arturo Cisneros could be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison if his probation is revoked. Castillo has not been found of engaging in professional misconduct. Well, I guess just send in all the butt pics and, all the what is your favorite position for the married time action is totally, totally, standard operating procedure for Texas, I guess. I mean, who'd have thunk? I did not know that this was apparently what we were just going to be doing in Texas. And Wolfram gifted 5 Church of Mo memberships, and those went to Nanny Goat, Sir Frank Otter, Arlene, Peggy Otis, and JKD Buck. So congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. We have dark humor and, not this guy. So good things, good things. And give Wolfram a thanks to, for him gifting those out. We have the best members ever. It seems like he made a quick escape. A quick-thinking man dines and dashes on his hinge day after she brings a friend and orders surf and turf and drinks. Look, sir, she thought you were bringing your Gold Express card. How was he not to know? Good morning, Forever Not Me. Some days Mr. Mo may annoy the ever-living snot out of me, but I'm still thankful to not be dating. So, yikes. The old Dayton switch. A clever man dined and dashed on his hinge day after realizing she and the friend she showed up with for the romantic evening. How in the world is she bringing a friend to a romantic evening unless they were involved in some more pineapple stuff than I knew about? Was taking him through the ringer, thinking he would foot their costly bill. The TikToker whose username is Johnny America proudly recounted that he abruptly left the duo behind when they started ordering surf and turf and a handful of drinks at a local hibachi restaurant. Oh no, he done took them to the hibachi restaurant and they were going to eat all of the filet mignon and lobster. That's a hard nope. Johnny claimed he reached out to the woman about meeting up for lunch on a first date after they'd matched on the dating app. On a first date? And you bring a friend? I didn't think first dates were phone a friend activities. Now, ladies, let's be honest. Sometimes we do have that friend that will, call and fake a heart attack to get us out of some bad situations. But generally, we don't bring them along and say, hey, my good sir, I don't know where this is going, but my friend will take the surf and turf as well. So, dear Lord. Thank you, John, for your $5. And you are so very welcome. I love having a group that just likes, gets a bit of my humor and, is here because, y'all, I would be nerding out about news no matter what. So, so I'm glad that I have people that I can just kind of be goofy with in the morning. His date agreed, but she did request they go out for hibachi, Johnny revealed in a get there to meet this girl at hibachi, and she brings a friend with her and goes, "Hey, would it be cool if my friend just jumps in with us?" Well, I mean, maybe she was trying to tell him something on the DL. I guess he responded, "She's already here." What was I gonna do? Tell her to go away? No, she's gonna have to sit in the car. Johnny said he started talking with his date when the woman and her friend ordered a bunch of drinks and appetizers. Okay, look, it's lunch, ma'am. Why are you drinking 18 martinis at lunch? I mean, I don't know. Still trying to remain cordial, he bit his tongue and didn't say anything. Later, the hibachi chef asked the content creator what he wanted for his meal, and he ordered a simple chicken and rice dish, while the girls opted for the often pricey surf and turf meal consisting of seafood and meat. The TikToker, shocked by their order, immediately realized the two women were trying to get a luxurious meal at his expense. These girls think I'm stupid. I'm not. Well, I mean, I don't understand the front bowl cut haircut, but how dare they see your haircut and assume that you were gonna, I don't know, not pay for them? He claimed they continued to hang out and talk while they ate their meals, but he knew what was going on the whole time. Johnny ditched the brazen pair when the chef asked if they would like the bill split up, to which the girls responded all on one. So I tell her, "Hey, do me a favor. Will you just box up my food real quick? I'm going to go to the restroom." And she goes, "Yeah, no problem." But unwilling to be these girls, stooge, he pulled a fast one. Guess where I went? I didn't go to the restroom, I went to my car and I went home. "You think I'm stupid? I'm not. You pay my bill. Thanks," he recounted before ending the video. Now, the only thing I will absolutely disagree with this man about is that, uh, he should have just paid for his own meal and left the girls to pay for his. I mean, at this point, a chick brought her friend on a date. I don't know all of that. A follow-up video posted Thursday, the TikToker said he returned to the hibachi restaurant the next day to ensure the tab was paid. He found out the same chef who served him, who shared they paid the bill, but they didn't pay. The chef told him that around 30 minutes after the girls were sitting around waiting for him to come back, another man came in and paid the tab before the two left. These two suckers called another idiot to pay their bill, and this idiot actually did, Johnny recalled. There's no saving them. They're not good people, Johnny said before ending the video. Okay, okay, Mr. Moral High Horse, you jumped out of there without paying your own bill, which as a man, you should at least pay for your own way. Look, again, you could have told the chef or even the front desk person, "Look, I was not party to this whole one bill thing. I would like to pay for my own meal and then leave." So, yeah, you end up looking like kind of lay jerk too, sir. Like, and that haircut kinda says resting douche face, but I mean, look, whatever you would like to do with your bangs, sir, you do. I don't know. I don't find it cool. The original video, which has garnered 2.5 million views since being posted, earned praise for his quick thinking. "Nothing more disrespectful to me than taking advantage of someone's kindness. I dip out too. LOL, you played their game better than them. She wanted an expensive meal for free and for her friend. Good on you. You 100% did the right thing. Whenever I go on dates, I make sure that the place we're going is not something I wouldn't mind paying for myself." Uh, yeah, I mean, I just I don't get it. I can understand why there's a loneliness epidemic if the people that you do meet are like this. You're like, "No, thank you. I'll just not people. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. My plushies don't hurt me." Well, if you had a password, you might not anymore. 10 billion, and yes, that is, Dr. Evil billion, um, passwords have been leaked on a hacker site. Are you at risk? Well, considering probably no one else wants my Super Sailor Moon, Super Shopper frequent flyer card, I'm pretty sure I'm okay. But, we'll have to see. In the latest cybersecurity scare, a file with nearly 10 billion passwords has been posted to a hacking site. Researchers at Cyber News said they discovered a file posted on July 4th. Let freedom ring by stealing everyone else's, dark web information. Found 9,000,9,048,000,000, just a big old giant huge, for the love of numbers, number of passwords. Cyber News experts said they believed that this was a data dump called RockU 2024 and is the largest password leak of all time. The Cyber News team believes that the attackers can utilize the 10 billion strong RockU 2024 compilation to target any system that isn't protected against brute force attacks. This includes everything from online and offline services to internet facing cameras and industrial hardware. Well, I mean, who doesn't feel safe now? The online publication said in the report, "What is RockU 2024 leak? 10 billion passwords included in a file uploaded by a user named Obamacare are not all new." The Cyber News said its team has cross-referenced passwords included in the RockU 2024 leak data from Cyber News leaked password checker, which revealed that these passwords came from a mix of old and new data breaches. The passwords on the documents have likely been collected from more than 4,000 databases over the last 20 years. In essence, this leak is a compilation of real world passwords used by individuals all over the world, revealing that many passwords for threat actors substantially heightens the risk of credential stuffing attacks. Credential stuffing is when hackers take information, such as passwords, from one data leak and attempt to log on to other websites. I mean, this all seems like magic to me, but there you go. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If you, like me, and in the legacy of Spaceballs, do 1, 2, 3, 4 as your password, you could want to change it to something else. So just know that these passwords are out there. So you might want to, change password 1234 to, 54321 password. Switch it up just a little bit. I always love that, past me thinks that future me is going to remember the super secret password that I put into this particular website. And I'm like, and then it'll ask you to, pick a new password, and like, you can't use a password that you've used in the last 6 months. And I'm like, how am I supposed to remember it then? There's just so many rules and I don't like it. In This is not quite Lord Chippy, but this is Florida Woman. And this chick probably needs to go to Snake Island, to be honest, just for these shenanigans. But, shocking no one, a Florida mother has been involved in some shenanigans. Show up and tear this bee up tomorrow. A mother incited a 500-person riot at a skate rink for canceling her daughter's birthday party. I mean, I don't think this is fighting fire with fire, ma'am. I somehow think that you might get in trouble even in Florida for inciting mob violence because your daughter or a skating rink canceled a birthday party. I mean, call me crazy. I don't know how justice always works with Florida people, but, Thank you, Fraudette Wrangler. I hope you have a great weekend as well. And thank you for the $5. And I have got to get caught back up with, dumb waiter and pickles lady because I have missed all the latest gossip this past couple weeks trying to get other things done. So I need to catch up. I'm missing my hill chuck, representation. A 36-year-old mother in Florida has been arrested after police said she intentionally cited a 400 to 5-person, 100-person riot at a local skating rink after the business canceled her teen daughter's birthday party for breach of contract. Stephanie Pedroso was taken into custody on Wednesday and charged with one count each of inciting a riot, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, and driving with a license suspended, canceled, or revoked. According to a news release from Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, deputies at about 9:20 p.m. on Saturday, May 18th, responded to a call from an off-duty deputy who reported about 500 people at the Astro Skate in Brandon, Florida, and that several fights had already broken out. The business is about 245 miles northwest of Miami. Upon arriving at the scene, multiple deputies took nearly 6 hours to contain the melee, which resulted in the arrest of 23 juveniles and 3 adults for the escalation of chaos at the scene. Well, I mean, I always feel like I escalate chaos. I just won't do it in Florida. I didn't know it was a crime. Additionally, the sheriff's office said that one person was injured and 5 local businesses were damaged during the riots. Following an investigation, deputies said that Pedroso had incited the riot, mostly of juveniles, because Astro Skate canceled her daughter's birthday party. Pedroso and Astro Skate on May 14th entered into a contract stating that the facility would host an after-hours birthday party for her daughter on May 17th. However, the contract did stipulate that the mother was responsible for securing a certain number of off-duty deputies. Pedroso then shared the event on her daughter's social media accounts, which authorities said gained considerable attention and hundreds of likes. However, the sheriff's office said that the mother failed to secure the required off-duty deputies for the party, meaning she was in breach of the contract with Astro Skate. As a result, the business canceled the mother's reservation and issued her a refund on May 17th. That's when the mother, using her daughter's social media account, made a live video encouraging friends to show up to inflict violence in the community, which included many of the businesses around the Astro Skate, the release states. In the Instagram live video stream, the mother could be heard making multiple violent and vulgar statements, as well as numerous, Istan-phobe slurs. The Tampa Bay Times reported that a teen was thrown through the plate glass window of a barber shop next to the skate rink, and then rioters broke in and looted a 7-Eleven across the street, causing about $500 worth of damage. I want to be clear, using social media to encourage people to riot and destroy businesses is completely unacceptable, and we will not tolerate that here in Hillsborough County. Chronicus, the sheriff, really wanted to put this through. Like, look, we're not going to have it. Put your pitchforks down. We will not have it. This serves as a stark reminder of how quickly situations can spiral out of control and shows the importance of responsible behavior and the consequences of inciting violence. Well, I mean, of who among us would expect a mother to show good, I don't know, attributes and examples to her child? I mean, it's Florida woman. How dare we expect that? Now, she was released from detention on Thursday after posting a bond of $2,500. It's not immediately clear when she was scheduled to appear in court. The anti incitement law used to charge Pedroso was recently upheld by Florida Supreme Court, which issued a decision last month clarifying that the law cannot be used to prosecute nonviolent protesters or bystanders. Well, again, I think it would be kind of, I don't know, inherent in the anti-incitement name that it kinda doesn't cover, oh, I don't know, peaceful protest. I mean, legitimate peaceful protest. Incitement generally means to violence or to rabble rousing or things like that. You don't incite someone to peace generally. I mean, unless I've made grammar wrong and Zach's not here to correct me. In, everyday heroism, I am so glad that this trucker was able to do this. But a trucker finds abandoned 1-year-old boy alive along a highway a day after his sibling was found, not alive on the highway. A trucker found a 1-year-old alive on a ditch. Is there a photo? There we go. Here's the trucker. And what an awesome job. I mean, I think sometimes we overlook the really, important and vital job that truckers do just every day, hauling these large loads, being safe, paying attention to all of us drivers who may or may not actually pay attention to them and keeping our country, you know, stocked with all of the things that we have grown accustomed to having. So what a wonderful thing for this truck driver to do above and beyond what he already does for our country. A truck driver found a 1-year-old alive in a ditch off Interstate Highway in Louisiana this week, a day after the boy's 4-year-old brother was found not alive near the same freeway in what investigators think was a case of abandonment around the time of tropical storm conditions that hit the area. The boy's mother, a Louisiana resident, has been arrested in Mississippi and faces murder and other charges, accused of abandoning children in Louisiana, authorities said Thursday. What in the Okay, this mama. Okay, I'm going to need all my technicians at the nuclear power plant to start Lord Chippy launch sequence cuz this mom is excommunicated from the mama club and the woman club. She is now strictly a female and we don't want her back. So females can have her, okay? But she is no longer a mom, a woman, a lady. Nope, she's just a female. Just a female. A Louisiana sheriff who says he believes that the 1-year-old spent 2 days along Interstate 10, including while Hurricane Beryl or its weaker iterations battered the western Gulf Coast region with rain and strong wind, is praising the truck driver for seeing the child and stopping to pick him up Tuesday. Quote, "We look at this 1-year-old as our miracle baby because he's still alive." Uh, Classio Parish Sheriff Stitch Gilcroy said this week. This kid spent 2 days out in the weather on the side of the highway. Thank God that trucker saw him. An investigation began Monday afternoon when the 4-year-old boy's body was found floating in water behind a rest stop on I-10 in western Louisiana's. I'm going to mess this up, so if anyone's from Louisiana, I apologize, but Classio Parish, just across the Texas state line, the sheriff's office said. No immediate cause for his passing away was announced for this little 4-year-old boy. And y'all, this case is going to, I'm going to keep an eye on this case because this case needs to be covered because this woman is obviously dumpster water material. Like even Ebola doesn't want to hang out with this chick. Ebola's like, look, I'm a hemorrhagic fever that kills 90% of my victims. And even I don't want to associate with this chick. Oh, absolutely fundian. Just gross. That day, Beryl made landfall in Texas as a hurricane and weakened to a tropical storm and a tropical depression as it impacted Louisiana, dropping rain and delivering wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour to the parish, CNN meteorologists said. Detectives eventually learned that the 4-year-old had been last seen on Saturday with his mother, uh, Aaliyah Jack, 25, of Lake Charles, and his 1-year-old brother, uh, the sheriff's office said. Police in Meriden, Mississippi, then found Jack without the 1-year-old. She was arrested there initially on suspicion of failing to report a missing child. And on Tuesday morning, the 1-year-old turned up alive along I-10 back in Louisiana. The truck driver, Reginald Watson, was driving on I-10 when he saw something to the right over in the embankment, he told CNN affiliate KADN, adding that he assumed it was a doll that someone had tossed out of a vehicle. But as I was passing, I saw more and I said, "Hey, that looks like a baby." Walton of Texas told KADN. Watton was driving 60 to 75 miles per hour, and it took him about a quarter of a mile to stop the truck. He called 911, stopped the truck, and ran back. Sure enough, there was a little boy sitting down the embankment there, and as I approached him, he smiled at me. Then he stood up and started crying and walked toward me. I mean, y'all, the thing is I don't care if this baby has family. If I were that truck driver, you could not pry this baby out of my arms because I would just adopt him. I'd be like, "Sweetie, you're coming home with me. You're going to live with chaos, but there will be kindness and there will be love, and I will never leave you anywhere because you're mine now." I mean, absolutely, what a hero. Thank you for stopping. The 1-year-old was found near mile marker 10, about 9 miles from the rest stop where his brother had been found, not alive the day before. Deputies identified the boy as Jack's 1-year-old son. He was taken to the hospital and later released to the State Department of Children and Family Services. On Thursday, Jack, still in custody in Mississippi, was charged in Louisiana with second-degree unaliving, cruelty to a juvenile, and 2 counts of failure to report a missing child. It is unknown if she has an attorney. And as much as this pains me to say, because I'm kind of more of the table flipping Jesus, if you know what I mean, she is entitled to due process, but I am not required to think that she is anything other than a dumpster human. So, make sure your constitutional stuff is there. Make sure we, cross all our T's, dot all our I's, and then you can go straight on to prison because I'm not here. I'm guessing that they will be adding that along with, gross neglect and other things. Though Gilcroy said he believed that the 1-year-old spent 2 days along I-10, which would have included Monday as Beryl swept through the area, the sheriff's office has not said whether investigators know precisely when the siblings were left. Walton, meanwhile, told KADN he didn't feel like it was a hero. Quote, "I just feel it was God's will for me to be in the right place at the right time." I mean, hero and humble, because, sir, let me tell you something. To that little baby, to that little boy, you are a hero. And to the people that are listening to this, because most people wouldn't stop. Most people, would maybe be afraid or would just tell themselves, "No, it's a baby doll. I've got, I need to keep on my schedule. I need to keep up with my deliveries." But he did. And it's the what I find amazing is that heroism is in these little small acts. It's not these big flashy things. I mean, not everyone's going to run into a burning fire, but these little small acts where you could ignore, where you could choose to, say, "Hey, something is more important," but you stop. Those are the real heroic people to me. Consuela Jack, Aaliyah's mother, uh, and grandmother to the children, told CNN the last time she saw the kids was Saturday at her mother's funeral, after which her daughter took them. Caswella Jack said she and her daughter had an agreement in which the grandmother would generally take care of the two boys, but Aaliyah was free to see them whenever she wanted. Consuela learned of her 4-year-old grandson's death on Tuesday after his paternal grandmother called to tell her, uh, she said, shortly after a detective called her to confirm the little boy's passing. She does not know what led up to the boy's death or how her 1-year-old grandson ended up on the side of the road, she told CNN. I don't know how anything like this occurred. I know at this moment I just want my grandbaby back, the grandmother said. So not only did this poor woman, this grandmother, lose her mother that weekend, but now she's lost her grandson, which it seems like she was more of a mama to than his real mom. I mean, Aaliyah, you are really, really digging that absolute hole in straight to Hades for yourself. Consuela was living in Houston when she heard the news and has since relocated to Lake Charles. She has been calling Child Protective Services daily to receive updates on her surviving grandson. I don't know what to think. I buried my mother on Saturday and now I learned this. She described her 4-year-old grandson as an awesome kid. I'm sorry, baby, that you're gone. I'm so sorry, she said. The grandmother said Thursday that she still hadn't spoken with her daughter to learn what happened and hoped to reunite with her surviving grandson. Look, y'all, I love my kids, but there's a point at which if my adult children are screwing all the way up and my grandchildren who are innocent babies need to be taken care of, that y'all don't think I'm gonna put my grandbabies first before an adult who's screwing up. I may still love my daughter or my children to death, but I am no, no. Children and babies are innocent and need our protection. You're an adult screwing up, we can have some talks after you come to your senses. So, just thank you so much, sir, for stopping and, oh, Lord, just wrap your hands around this grandma. I mean, I don't even know what I would do. Well, in the viral video that you probably saw all over X, and I don't have TikTok, so I don't know if it was really big there, but a Buffalo police officer fatally shot a suspect while clinging to a speeding car as a 6-year-old boy sat in the front seat, as the person who was supposed to be driving the car, well, drove off after a police stop. A Buffalo police officer fatally shot a man while clinging to the suspect's car after he sped off with a 6-year-old child in the front seat during a traffic stop, according to heart-racing body cam footage. Officer Ronald Amerman pulled over 25-year-old Davion Roberts just after midnight on Wednesday for driving at excessive speeds and having tinted windows, the Buffalo Police Department said. Uh, Amerman approached the driver's side of the car and immediately noticed that a 6-year-old boy, who the suspect first identified as his little cousin, then second later as his nephew, was sitting in the front seat without a seatbelt. The officer asked Roberts to provide identification, to which he agreed. The suspect, who told the officer he was from Georgia and he was driving his sister's vehicle, showed him an out-of-state ID on his phone and said it was fine because he gets pulled over every day. Well, I mean, now, your dumbassness, who, FAFO'd, you'd think possibly that if you didn't speed all the time, you wouldn't get pulled over. I mean, these are, cause and effect things that I guess we don't teach in school anymore. However, upon looking up the ID, Ackerman found the photo of the ID to be invalid and that Roberts didn't have a driver's license in either state. The officer then told Roberts that they would do a different search for his name and showed Ackerman reaching into the car, opening the door. Seconds after the door opened, Robert slams on the gas pedal and sped off with the officer holding onto the door frame for dear life. And I mean, if y'all have seen the footage of this. It is crazy. I am not going to show it because YouTube generally gets a little ticked off if we show all of the violence. Uh, I mean, not that CNN can't or MSNBC or ABC, but us us regular, non-mainstream media people get in trouble. You're gonna kill me, bro. Amerman was said to be heard repeatedly pleading as the car accelerates. The officer begged the suspect to slow down and that he'd get out, but Robert ignored him. Roberts continued to drive erratically and appeared to try to donkey kick Amerman to push him off the car while the 6-year-old could be heard crying hysterically. Keep in mind, again, this 6-year-old is not a car seat. He's not in the back seat. He's in the front seat with no seatbelt. Amerman pulled out his force multiplier and sent some freedom seeds downrange into Roberts, who came tumbling out of the moving vehicle onto the officer. Amerman clutched onto the car for about 20 seconds before he took this sort of action, and the two fell on the street. Shots fired. There's a kid still in the car. He tried to kill me, Amerman shouted into his radio while rushing over to check on the child. Upon reaching the vehicle, the officer immediately consoled the 6-year-old, who was unharmed. Amerman's partner, Officer Jonathan Crawford's body cam, was positioned on the passenger side of the suspect's car and shows the moment Roberts took off with his partner clinging onto the car. Crawford then gets into his cruiser and reaches the suspect lying motionless on the ground before help arrives. The suspect was then rushed by ambulance to Erie County Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Buffalo Police Department Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia said in a press conference over the fatal shooting Thursday. Amerman was also taken to the hospital with minor injuries and was later released. Upon requesting a search warrant for the car, which did not belong to the suspect, police said they found a loaded 9mm Taurus force multiplier under the driver's side seat. I believe it is justified use of force that occurred the other night, Buffalo Police Commissioner said during a press conference, when you take into account the fact that the officer found himself in grave risk of physical injury or death, the use of that level of force is justified by law. And I do believe that it is justified use of force in this case. Amerman is a 7.5-year department veteran, and Crawford had been placed on administrative leave per the department policy. They're going to need time to process this, Gramaglia said. And this is Mr. Gramaglia with the most difficult to suss out last name I've had today. So you win the prize, Mr. Gramaglia. But I feel proud of myself that I was able to, hooked on phonics, figure that one out this morning. This is real life. There's not a lot of control the way some of these situations go down. We can train for various situations, but when it happens in real life, when there are actual situations, they can always happen differently than what they do in a training facility. Buffalo homicide detectives and internal affairs divisions are conducting separate investigations into the fatal, shooting. In April, Roberts was charged with second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, first-degree reckless endangerment, and third-degree criminal mischief during a memorial for his 12-year-old half-brother, Jalen Griffin. I mean, and look, if I lost a 12-year-old, maybe I'd go a little, crazy at the funeral. But no, actually, I wouldn't, because I would like the day to be a celebration of a 12-year-old and not my foolish ass acting stupid, But grief does weird things to people. Roberts was held without bail until the charges were changed to first-degree attempted assault and second-degree criminal possession of a weapon in June and was released under supervision. Griffin's body was found in a South Buffalo home in April after he went missing in August 2020. WIVB reported. Roberts even mentioned the young boy to officers before the traffic stop went haywire. It's a very sad situation all around. This family's been through a lot over the past several years, Gramaglia said. So, absolutely just look, more for his family than for this gentleman who decided to FAFO with a child in the front seat. But for the family that's already lost one child and will still have to deal with the grief of losing this family member too, those are who I feel sad for. I feel sad for this officer who's going to have to deal with the very real, this had to be done. I was afraid for my life, but you still took a life, and I know that has to weigh incredibly heavy on a person. So those are the people I feel sorry for. Now, and possibly why Mo is not a judge news, because I think I might could be just like this old Florida man judge, and I might be suspended because I don't deal with stupid coming from adults very well. So, the judge is alleged to have said, "I asked you an effing question, a-hole." I mean, now look, I would say the court asked you an effing question, a-hole. I mean, I'd be all like, responsible about it. But I have seen enough of these lawyers who talk and try to say like everything but what they're actually saying. So again, this might could be a reason that you know, I am not a judge because apparently using the F word is just, not like potpourri we can sprinkle on like glitter. A state circuit court judge in Florida is facing a multi month suspension after a state agency investigating allegations of misconduct found that he engaged in intemperate conduct. Well, I mean, to be fair, it is Florida. Can you imagine the cases he sees? He's probably like, I look, y'all, I have done it for 20 years. I'm about done with Florida man, and failed to be faithful to the law at least once, ordered a defendant to be jailed in violation of their due process rights. The Judicial Qualifications Commission for the state of Florida on Tuesday formally recommended that Seminole County Circuit Court Judge Wayne Culver serve a 60-day suspension without pay and be publicly reprimanded. The incidents all took place during adjudication of cases before Culver in January to February of 2022. The disciplinary panel said Culver in June 2022 reached a settlement similarly recommending Culver serve a 60-day suspension. Look, this is what you get when you get, Al Borland, after he got his law degree and stopped working at Payless Shoes for fluffy chicks. I mean, I don't know what you expected, older Al Borland retired judge to do, but what can you do? Uh, Now, it did disapprove of proposed sanctions, but it did order the panel to conduct a full hearing on the judge's alleged misdeeds. In one instance that took place on February 10th, 2022, Culver is presiding over a defendant's sentencing hearing when another defendant entered the courtroom and began looking for a place to sit, but could not find a seat. The panel noted that tape marked off seats every 6 feet for social distancing. Judge Culver noticed him and yelled in a loud, aggressive voice, "Sir, I'm doing something here. Could you shut up and sit down?" I mean, I'd kinda do the same thing. The defendant said he was trying to find a seat. Culver excoriated the man and threatened to have him thrown in jail using expletives. "That's not shutting up," Culver said. "Look, y'all, this judge is like a mama that, all of her children have for the last 2 weeks, tested every little last bit of the Jesus in her. And she has done warned him, like, "Y'all don't test the Jesus in me. It is not a good day. I am tired." And, you always have that one distinctly feral child that's like, "Ooh, I'm not touching her, but Imma see if I can get her to break." And obviously, he was just at that level, and this one poor schmuck came in looking for a seat, and he was like, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore." He went on to say, "You'll be held in contempt and go to jail. I asked you an effing question, a-hole." Look, he was trying to do keto, and if anyone has ever detoxed from bagels, y'all know the struggle is real. He was just a little hangry, and kale was not cutting it. Judge Culver admitted shocking himself by his use of profanity, and members of the public might be rightly appalled, the committee wrote. He knew it immediately when he left the bench, telling his judicial assistant, "I really messed up in there." In another instance, Culver ordered a defendant to serve 179 days in jail for failing to complete a court ordered DV program in a timely manner. As the defendant was being led out of the courtroom, Culver also denied him opportunity to speak on his own behalf and defend himself. Additionally, when a woman in the gallery got up and tried to address the court, Culver threatened to jail her as well. "Ma'am, sit down or you're going into custody as well." The sentence was successfully appealed and vacated. However, the panel also recognized that Culver was going through a particularly difficult personal issue, as he was the primary caregiver for his 87-year-old father, who was hospitalized, incapacitated, and in the process of passing away, potentially being mistreated by a third party. In addition to the suspension and reprimand, the panel recommended that Culver undergo continued treatment for anger management and stress. Oh, are they gonna have you do art therapy too, sir? Because I don't know how painting, happy fluffy clouds is gonna help either of us, but, mine's for chronic pain, yours is for chronic, well, hanger, I don't know. And in our final story, well, Australia, I don't even know what to tell you. These Picassos prompted a gender war at an Australian gallery. Now a curator says she painted them. So they're not Picassos so much as Picassos. I mean, they're Picasso light. Th- They are the seltzer water of Picasso. Wellington, New Zealand. They were billed as artworks by Pablo Picasso's painting so valuable that an Australian art museum's decision to display them in an exhibition restricted to women visitors provoked a gender discrimination lawsuit. The paintings again prompted international headlines when the gallery rehung them in a women's restroom to sidestep a legal ruling that said men could not be barred from viewing them. Well, I am sure you'll show those dangly bits havers, not being able to see a woman who looks like a jigsaw puzzle. How will they survive? But the artworks at the center of the uproar were not really Picasso's or any other famed artist billed as their creator. It emerged this week that the curator of the women's only exhibition admitted she had painted them herself. Okay, so you did a wine and cork, or I'm sorry, so you did finger painting, tried to sell it off as a Picasso, and then said, "Sorry, only females, fallopian czars are allowed to see this." Of all the Rosa Parks, you ain't, ma'am. I mean, if this is the civil rights hill you would like to die on, well, that painting you did vaguely looks like a hill, so I would go ahead and put a little Australian flag right on top of, well, it looks like her saddlebags, and call it a win. Carisha Kalesh wrote on the blog of Tasmania's Museum of Old and New Artwork on Wednesday that she was revealing herself as the work's creator after receiving questions from a reporter and the Picasso administration in France about their authenticity. But they had been displayed for more than 3 years before the provenance was questioned. Even though she hung one of the fake paintings upside down. I imagine that a Picasso scholar, or maybe just a Picasso fan, or maybe just someone who Googles things would visit the ladies' lounge and see that the painting was upside down and expose me on social media. Well, maybe because most women in the ladies' room are just on their phone and, passively monitoring that everyone uses soap to wash their hands. I mean, that's what most women are doing in the restroom. I guess I've never taken time to peruse Picasso while on the pot. I but I am more of a hillbilly than, a highfalutin art person, so who knows? I mean, eh, look, I get some of Picasso's stuff, but this just seems like a fever dream that no one needed to see. Or, what happens when you sleep without a bra on. I mean, both are kinda abstract and scary things. Now, the saga began when this curator decided to create a woman's only area at the art museum in 2020 for visitors to revel in the pure company of women. Ma'am, I don't know if you've had many lady friends, but we can be catty and emotional and snarky and backhanded compliments. Like, one of the least safe emotional places you can be is with a bunch of catty ladies. So, I don't know what's going on around here, but being in the pure company of a bunch of ladies, I'm like hard pass unless it's the Golden Girls and we have cheesecake. The so-called ladies' lounge offered high tea, massages, and champagne served by male butlers. Well, as long as we get to objectify the menses, do we get to pick like a firefighter with no shirt on holding a puppy to bring us our wine, or is it basically just the entire cast of Chippendales asking for a friend? Squid pro quo. It's not sexist to enjoy, objectified men allegedly in that math. And jewelry so outlandish and absurd title cards were displayed alongside fake paintings, antiquities, jewelry that was obviously new and in some cases plastic. So wait, you're saying that the ladies' lounge was fake AF? Honestly, somewhat of a good social commentary on current, femininity. I don't think she quite understands the, actual point she's making here, that, to be part of this, ultra feminist sort of ladies only, uh, super elite and privileged group of ladyists, everything is fake and stupid and gross and objectifying. I mean, I feel like she's made my point for me. It worked. Mona, famous in Australia for its strange and subversive or exhibitions and events, was unfortunately ordered by the Tasmanian Civil and Administrative Tribunal in March to stop refusing men entries to the ladies' lounge after a complaint from a male gallery patron was upset after being barred from the space in 2023. The participation by visitors in the process of being permitted or refused entry is part of the artwork itself. Yes, for art, you are not allowed in our super special ladies only club. This is dumb. And I'm glad that this woman, got called out and then basically was like, no, this entire exhibit was trash and fake. It again proves my point that most of this is vapid and we would like privileges, but not the responsibilities that go through or go together with them. Well, I mean, I have said it before, the most unsafe place you can be emotionally is with a bunch of, mean girls from middle school. So, far be it from me to stop these these chicks from mean girling, the entire, municipality of Tasmania. But there you go, guys. These Picassos are not. So it is what it is, everyone. Friday, we have fake Picassos, we have hero truck drivers, we have the Smexy San Antonio, detective and the realtor and their romance gone wrong because she was just maybe married. So hopefully I have filled your bingo card with shenanigans, and given you all of the news you never knew you always needed for Friday into the weekend. And I will see you guys later. I'm going to do a couple of short videos today if I get time between relatives still being in town. And then I will see you tomorrow, Saturday, on Stabby Day with Baker. And then we've got Legal Shenanigans Theater, where we will attempt to get through Taylor Schabusiness's interrogation without dying of laughter. And then I will be on a panel with Publicly Buzzed and Hella and Dolly. We will be talking about the Alec Baldwin case, so I will definitely need to be watching those at speed run, things. So I am sending you guys over to Brandy Churchwell. I know she isn't starting for a couple of hours, but if you happen to go over there and, give her a shout and tell her that I absolutely love her verdict day eyebrows. That would be great. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool, and I will see you tomorrow, guys, or today, depending on where time is a continuum. Bye, guys.